Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mrs. Papergoy.
Yep, Mr. Magazine couldn't make it tonight, or there's been some definite changes, definitely for the better. I want to welcome y'all into the Hump Day Happy Hour Salute. And today we enjoyed some Jack Daniels. It wasn't bad, was it?
No, it wasn't.
So we had some Jack Daniels Fireball, essentially. And why don't you click on her and say hi to everybody?
Hello, Jeff.
And I click on it. There you go. See how it shows up. See?
Oh, okay. So bear with me here.
Barry, welcome. Nanette, I saw you up there. You didn't get a click. Sorry. Yep. There you go. Now you're doing good. There you go, Lee. There we go. All right. We're cooking with fire now. First time over here. Welcome, Lee. Welcome, Metal. Welcome, Artie Mike. Welcome, Jeff. Mr. Hot Wheels. Oh, you're very close. Random Neighborhood Kid had some changes, as we noted over here. Yeah, Random Neighborhood Kid looks different, Guide Guru. Exactly. Good evening. See the lights.
Yeah,
new filter for Mr. Magazine. He's looking a lot better. He's looking the best he's ever looked. Don't tell him I said that, though. Oh. Hello, Don.
Hey,
welcome.
Hello.
Feral Girl, welcome.
There you go.
And there we go.
All
so
right.
Everybody says hi to you, Mrs. Papergoy.
Hello, everyone.
That is exactly what I said, Nanette. I said that in 3 weeks she's going to be going, we don't need Mr. Magazine anymore. Yeah, so Mr. Magazine has a comedy show that he's going to see tonight. So other than ours. So he's a little bit busy. So we're going to kick the show off. First, I want to give a heartfelt thanks out to Don, the auction professor, for coming on last week. That was a fun show. I ended up speaking with him till about 11 o'clock, so 2.5 hours afterwards. And I did get up in my usual 2:30 in the morning time, so I was dragging the next day, 3.5 hours of sleep. I was dragging, but now he's a really nice guy. You met Don. Nice guy, right?
Yes.
Very, very nice guy. So that's great. And we're going to start the show off as we usually do. Ask you all out there how your sales are. Mr. Magazine did report in, and he did say that his sales are okay. They're not bad overall. He's doing fine. Website is actually doing better, and he's transitioning away from eBay just because the sales aren't great on eBay. So you can click on, yeah, there you go. Welcome in, Morris. Mrs. Magazine. Oh, it's Mrs. Papergoy. A little difference there. So everybody's being nice to you. I told you they would be. We have a great group. So yeah, let us know how your sales are. With my sales, eBay's been abysmal today. Abysmal. There's a new word for you. It rhymes with dismal. I think I've only sold one item today on eBay. It's been bad, but it had been steady up until, and then Amazon's okay. So my sales are but eBay's not good at all. Yeah, so you just click on the various people there. So Swamp Fox, he's new. Welcome in, Swamp Fox, aka Jeff.
Okay.
Wow, not often you see a living say, oh, wait a minute. Salesman Kicking bought a turntable I found at a thrift for $400. Whoa, Guide Guru, I don't think I do that in a week. Oh, Don has so many questions for you. Hello, Antiquarian. Welcome in. Up to 173%. Wow. I must be doing something wrong over here. I don't know what's going on. Wait, this is Mrs. Papergoy? Va, 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 boom. Hey, she's taken, John Jones. She's taken.
Hello.
Exactly. Thank you, Metal. Thank you. Oh, she's a saint. She really is. But I got to put up with her. Come on.
Hello.
Hello, Steve. Welcome in. $60 return. Oof. Those are killers. And Pudding selling lots of cheap items. Yeah, so my sales are not particularly good, at least not on eBay. That being said, I sold 2 items on $1 Million Peddlers. Why, we sold 1 item over on Viv's-Views, 1 postcard. We sold 1 of the CDs from the famous hall where I walked through the Valley of Death and ended up buying those CDs down at the Flop House. Oddly, Mrs. Papergoy said, go back a few more times, see if they have anything else. I don't understand that at all.
I did.
Roll with the joke. Yes, you did. You said go back. Jeez Louise.
Okay.
I sold one item on papergoy.com, but the big news this week, I sold 19 items on Etsy. Etsy has been, in the immortal words of Dan Patrick, en fuego. So that's crazy. 3 sales, only 1 paid by Barry. Okay. Hit the like button for Mrs. Papergoy. There you go.
Yeah.
Where is it? I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it.
Hit the like button.
Promoted last week, 22 promoted out of 43 sales. So we're running about 50, just over 50%. And the offers, 41 old items, 114 total offers. Last year for the same week, I had 135 offers. So the offers are a little bit lower with a few more items than they were last year. All righty. And yeah. Etsy's doing really, really well. I can't argue with that at all. Kind of a little sneak preview of the main topic today about the 50,000 listings. I list 2 items a day on Etsy unless I'm out of town. Otherwise, I list 2 items a day. And I've been doing that for a couple of years now. I have 900 items, thereabouts, up on Etsy. And I've made 30 some sales, which some include multiple items on it. So I probably sold 350 items over there. So that's one of the secrets to jump to the main topic. That's one of the secrets, is just consistently listing things. You got to do it every single day. And, you start off on Etsy and you don't have a footprint at all. And now I'm selling 19 items on a site in a week on a site that I wasn't even part of 2 years ago. How about buys? Anybody buying anything out there? Are you being able to find anything out there with the way things are going? I did go a couple of things. I went to a Friday estate sale. One was a warehouse sale from a dealer, and it was a bit of a drive, and I bought a couple of things. It was okay. It was probably worth it overall on that one. And then Mrs. Papergoy and I went to a sale, and she chose not to go in because it wasn't really anything she'd be interested in. And they have off-site promotion. Yeah, I think that they do. Yep. And I did see they charged me an extra percentage on one of my items for an off-site sale for advertising. But I'm glad that Mrs. Papergoy didn't go in, because this was one of the worst estate sales I have ever been in as far as space goes. It was a very small house, very poorly set up house, just the way the house was. Like if you walked in the side door and you wanted to go to the living room, you had to walk all the way around the house. It was almost like it was just like a maze to get around that house. And a lot of people are just standing right in the middle. And don't you hate when people just stand there? Yeah. And they're standing right there and you're trying to get around them. And meanwhile, they're standing there talking. So it was a very, very small house. I'm sending a coupon to people who have left me feedback. Never had a single person use a coupon. That I don't know. That's a good question. And it's funny you mentioned coupons or coupons, as some people say, because I went to buy some supplies, and somebody had the coupon on it. And the coupons are tough because they're up at the top and it says save 5%, but you've actually got to copy the code and put it in. And thank goodness that I remembered to copy the code. But I'm sure a lot of people don't do it. And then the question is, how many people don't do it and then get upset and say, I was supposed to have that. I don't know. If you make over 10K, you can't. Okay. Amazon seller 90. No, it's not Mr. Magazine or Mr. Well, as the joke goes, we have a really nice filter on today from Mr. Magazine. It's Mrs. Papergoy. Could be worse. Could be buying CDs off Lyle. Yeah, that's the we sold one of those CDs from the flop house this week, so it's starting to pay off. Risking life and limb. Oh, hello, Karen. Welcome in. So then on Saturday, I went up to a buy from a guy that I've bought from in the past. He actually gave us our spider plant, as a matter of fact, that we gave the random neighborhood kids. So long story short, nice guy though. And he had a bunch of stuff he'd been accumulating for a couple of years. It's been a few years since I saw him, and I did okay. Sometimes on people like that, I pay a little more than I should, because I do appreciate them saving stuff for me. He hustles a lot and finds stuff and saves it up for me. And there is some appreciation for that as well. So I gave him a little bit more. I mean, I'll still make money. And a lot of the stuff is good for whatnot also. So, it was good talking to him and catching up with him, and ended up buying some stuff off him as well. I've been doing a lot of thrifting as far as buys, and been very good in my area. Wow. I haven't bought anything at a thrift store in a long time. Oh, awesome. Anik, welcome in. If you're late to the show, this is Mrs. Papergoy next to me. Wave to everybody. There you go. No, give him the give him the queen wave. So now there's an estate sale that I might be going to Friday with Mrs. Papergoy.
I am.
There you go. Yeah, something really been looking forward to. This estate sale is actually at an auction house right near our house that we've been to before. Mrs. Papergoy, I want you to listen. I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I want you to tell me what you think of this, and I want everybody else to listen to this as well. We have acquired several local estates for immediate dispersal, including the contents of an East Avenue millionaire, along with a prominent collector of antiques and fine art. All items have been moved to the auction hall for your convenience. Note, there are no household items in this sale. All household items were donated to Goodwill, etc. Now, this next sentence has an exclamation point at it, so I'm going to speak it as he wrote it. There are no items under $5. This is an antique estate sale. No bags. No purses. I believe it says no boxes, no purses will be allowed in the sale. Please lock your items in your car. Video surveillance and cameras on the premises. Does that sound like a friendly, inviting sale to you?
No.
No, not at all.
So not convenient.
No. And it's just to sit there and yell at people. There's no household items, basically don't waste my time. There are just good items here is kind of a crazy way to sell your estate sale. I'm thinking that he just doesn't want to deal with people that aren't collectors or dealers. And he doesn't want to deal with the general public. So he's trying to dissuade them from going. And I think he may have done that with the way he wrote that. Oh, Nanette saw that advertised. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Oh, welcome, Periwinkle. Yep. Well, enjoy it this time. Next week, you're going to have to look at Mr. Magazine again. I'm sorry. I do apologize in advance. Yeah, sounds like a good one. No items under $5. Leave me alone, kid. Get out of here. You bother me. Wait till the last day. The attitude will change. That's true. Except the only thing is this gentleman is a long time antique dealer. So he may not care. Honestly, he might not even care. He may have made his buck already and not care. Now, I talk to him and I get along fine with him, so no big deal, but it does turn a lot of other people off. Yeah, exactly. Primetime definitely would. No doubt at all about it. All righty. Glitch of the week. So there was a problem I had earlier in the week. As you all know, I'm working on trying to update all of my item specifics, and I'm down to 6,800. Now, if you remember when I started this, I had like 11,000 item specifics. I know, spoiler alert, I did not sell 4,200 items. Oh, thank you, Barry. Thank you for asking. It is.
Okay. It is
14 weeks, 2 days. 14 weeks, 2 days, but who's counting? So now when you're trying to click on items that need item specifics off your seller dashboard, it kept defaulting back to all items again. And I'm going, it's really hard to update the specifics with these glitches. Picked up a nice collection of ephemera, photos from the 1890s, 1960s, postcards, advertising literature from the 1900, 1960, and more. Oh, I'm, as we kids say, jelly. That's what we kids say. You wouldn't know, but us kids say it. Us cool kids.
I know it's legit.
Wow, look at you. There you go. Dawn knows. She's got the countdown going right there. She's got the app on her phone. And for some reason or other, and you may want to check this. So for the last couple of weeks, Mr. Magazine has been complaining. Well, that's not news, but he's been complaining that there's been a big problem where it wouldn't let him combine shipping. So I went in and I fished around in his account a little bit. And somehow or other, his require immediate payment got turned on. So we turned it off, and we haven't had any problems since then. You may want to check to see if surprise, she kept her smile at the retirement update. It's going to be great, though. She and I are going to spend all this time together.
This is a family show, you know.
Oh, yeah, good point. We're going to spend all the time. Why'd you say you were getting 4 jobs
Yeah.
after I retired? That's weird.
3.5.
Oh, well, that's more reasonable. But yeah, you definitely want to check to make sure that you haven't had those turned on if you don't want them turned on. If you go where the block bidders are, down in there are buyer preferences, and there's 2 boxes to check. One is to require them to have a payment method on file for auctions, and the other is for other items. I have both of them unclicked. If you don't worry about people paying immediately, unclick those, and that's where you find that at. 2 years, 25 days. There you go. Hey, what's the oldest item you have on eBay? Oh, no, it'll be longer than that. I've got items from 2008 up still. So some things have been up 15 years, but they're going to sell any day now. I can feel it. And then I had some trouble paying today where I paid an item and then it still showed it needed to be paid. So then I clicked through to pay it and it said, okay. And then I got an email saying my payment failed. And now I'm all confused saying, well, wait, what's going on here? And I went back to pay it, but then it said that the order was just awaiting the buyer to ship it out. So I ended up getting my money back. But yeah, there was a glitch this morning in payments where it wasn't recognizing it when you paid. So just to let you know. And the only site change, I got an email from Whatnot that as of early January, card breaks are going to be gated. You have to get approval in order to do card breaks over there, which I think is a good thing because I think one of the areas where they have a lot of their problems is in the card breaks because it's kind of the wild, wild west over there. So it looks like they're tightening up a little bit on those, and that can only be a good thing. And I also got an email from Whatnot telling them that I could take a quiz, and I'm not good at tests, to see if I could sell luxury bags and accessories on there. I didn't take the quiz because I see no scenario in which I sell luxury bags. But I guess that's another gated category. So they're starting to gate categories on people as well, which if you're the wild, wild west, I think you got to kind of put some rules and guardrails in place. Going to head on into the item of the week. Now, this is an item that I picked up, and Mrs. Papergoy isn't often impressed, but she actually was sort of impressed with this. I sent a $299 offer and a $350 die cast. The buyer jumped on it because I came with $2.99. Oh, that's a killer. That's an absolute killer. At least the buyer was understanding. It must have been an established buyer as opposed to somebody else. So this doesn't look like much at all. Why? What does this look like, Mrs. Magazine? Or Mrs. Papergoy? I'm sorry. I'm messing up here. I'm so used to Mr. Magazine. What does this look like? A book.
A book.
Yeah, nice.
Simple book.
A simple book. There you go.
Like an old book.
It is an old book. Midstream, My Later Life by Helen Keller. So it's a $10 book, $15 book, no dust jacket, etc. I paid 75 cents for it. However, I don't know how well this is going to show up because of our magic camera right over here. It may not show. Oh, there you go. You can just see it. That actually is signed by Helen Keller. And yes, she does have a signature. And the interesting thing about her signature is if you take a look over at the K, it's kind of hard to see on here, but if you take a look at the K, her K never touches. And the reason why is because she had to pick the pencil up in order to write it. She always signed in pencil. And signed Helen Keller book. This ends up being about a $600 book. Not a bad little buy for 75 cents. So keep your eyes out there. Sometimes, I found Anne Rice books and the like out there. So to find a signed Helen Keller book, I think that's really, really awesome. And we're going to save that for now. I'm not in any rush to sell it. So that's pretty cool. And you never know what you might be able to find out there. Except that then wanted to get free shipping. There you go. I'll send you a PM afterwards with a couple pics of the ephemera. Oh, cool. Awesome. We agreed to free shipping. Yeah. Oh, Golden Guide Guru says, Whatnot moving to luxury items. Yeah. Apparently they're, maybe they stole the CEO of eBay. Who knows? Maybe they're just going to go luxury only. Who knows? Yep. There you go. And welcome in, John. Welcome in.
Hello, John.
Good to see you. About $600 book there, guide. Yeah, about a $600 book. So that's really, really cool. Yeah. All righty. Got only a couple of, we have a lot of insulting offers, but we're going to keep the show kind of short. When I was negotiating with Mrs. Papergoy to come on the show, I had to go through her agent, and her agent said 45 minutes tops. So we're going to keep it kind of short just because of that. I will. Next time Mr. Magazine has JSA come in town, I'll have them authenticate it. But after I looked at it, there's no doubt at all it's real. So that's really, really cool. So Mr. Magazine had a Dukes of Hazzard lot of 4 cars. He was asking $50 on them. And now they're I think they were Erdl, if I remember right. They're the Hot Wheels size cars, 4 of them. Got a $15 offer on that. Yeah, yep. Again, when Mr. Magazine has JSA in town, I will use that, because that one I definitely would want to get it, because that'll obviously add to it considerably. And then I had a Wrestling Power magazine with Hulk Hogan on the cover. First issue. I was giving it away to start with at $16 plus shipping. I got a $4 offer on it. It's like, no, I'm not selling a magazine like that for $4. No. I don't know, probably $50 if I had to take a guess, something or other like that. Might be a little more on an item like that. Might be up to 100, but it's definitely worth it, because an item like that, you definitely want to sell with that, with the certification. There, see, they all understand.
Thank you. Thank you, Guide Guru.
So Mr. Magazine had a problem. A guy in Germany wants to buy 2 magazines from him and is saying, we need it media mail shipping. You can send this over media mail shipping over to me. Mr. Magazine's like, no, I can't. I cannot send things media mail over to Germany. That's not an option. So it's kind of crazy. And I don't know if these people are used to bullying newer sellers and getting people not to charge them the right amount for shipping or what. Please stay. There you go. See, they're trying. I told you they would be nice to you.
I'm getting the hang of it.
There you go. Clicking and everything. There you go. Couple of big auctions I saw out there. TCM Auctions has an auction with. You ever see any of the Raiders of the Lost Ark or any of the Indiana Jones movies?
No.
Oh, well, then you probably aren't interested in Indiana Jones Machete. That's going to be in the auction. And then they have E.T. Did you ever see E.T.?
No.
Well, you're probably not the target audience for this auction. They have an animatronic E.T. Well, it makes me happy, because you're not going to spend $1 million on the E.T.
Oh.
Yeah, they expected to go for $1 million. It was the E.T. used in the movie, the animatronic used in the movie. So if you have $1 million extra lying around, you can buy that, but Mrs. Papergoy would not appreciate that as a gift. I do not set a minimum. 2 reasons why. Number one, I price things at various prices, so it would just be an extra step in each item, putting a minimum in. And the other reason why is because today I might be willing to accept a different offer than I was 3 years ago, given that I have items in from 2008. I'm pretty much fire sale out anything that's been on there for that long. Whereas I wouldn't have been willing to fire sale that out in 2009 as an example. So no, I do not put any minimums on. However, I do have some items over $1 million peddlers over on eBay that have that set up to decline offers, and I never set it up. eBay just did it on its own, but they set very, very low things in. They set in things like decline an offer less than $1.12, and I'm like, oh yeah, duh.
Hello, Sydney.
Oh, hello, Sydney. How are you? Then Christie's had a watch auction. This story is unfolding. We mentioned it a couple of weeks ago because it had the Rolex that belonged to Marlon Brando was coming up for auction. Apparently, the auction started an hour late because a bidder put a minimum bid in across the board. So apparently he put a minimum across all items there, and it screwed up Christie's. So they started it late. Now a consignor is suing over it. Now, the consignor who's suing did sell the Marlon Brando Rolex for $5.2 million, but he's holding up the auction with a lawsuit. The entire auction is in limbo right now. $43 million were generated at the auction, and Christie's can't do anything. Well, it's working its way through the courts. So that's kind of a crazy, crazy story. The people that bought have paid their money. They can't get their item. The whole auction is on hold because of that. And then I had a little bit of a problem. Okay, a different problem.
Okay.
It was cold. We had to remove your listing because it didn't follow our protecting minors policy. We don't allow listings that include images or descriptions of minors under 18 in a compromising situation. Even if the listing is not intended to be sexual in nature, minors must be fully clothed. Now, this item that they took down was a 1970 U.S. Camera World Annual magazine, which included photos by Scavullo. So it's actually a real magazine. I mean, it's a real photography magazine, an art kind of magazine in there. So who knows what photo they ended up. I'm sure AI must have pegged it and said, nope, this is bad, and took it down. So do be careful. I've heard of a lot of problems people are having over in postcards and photos with the same issue. Oh, there you go,
Whatnot.
JB. How do you feel about Whatnot?
Whatnot? I don't know.
You
can ask Mr. Papergoy.
Nice.
Whatnot is you can move your
product quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And speaking of Whatnot, what a segue. So exactly. Mrs. Papergoy is going to be very, very happy Saturday morning because it's 7 a.m. as part of the Junk Journal train. 2 hours of Papergoy, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. Got some nice lots up there, some big lots up there. Definitely come on by for it. And there is absolutely nothing Mrs. Papergoy lives for other than hearing at 6:58 in the morning when she's in a sound sleep. And we're live. Welcome to a great auction of Papergoy. She's absolutely looking forward to that. No doubt at all about it.
Yeah, and I have my headset right.
Headset on. You're going to be staying at a hotel. Oh.
A book.
Oh.
Aww.
Thank you, Random Neighborhood Kid.
Thank
you. We got a super sticker from Random Neighborhood Kid. It's probably for me for having to put up with Mrs. Papergoy. That must be it. That must be it.
Talk about that. And
7 to 9
magazine and Random Neighborhood Kid.
7 to 9, isn't that your lunchtime? We're getting close to bedtime by 9 in the morning, Dawn, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
When 1 hour is just not exactly 2 hours of Papergoy. What could be better? Alrighty, so we are cooking with fire today. How I got to 50,000 listed items as a one-man band. That may be a touch high. I don't quite think I have 50,000 yet. I'm darn close. I've got just over 22,000 on eBay. I've got about 24,000 over on Amazon. Boy, maybe I do, because I've got 900 over on Etsy. Hello, Carl the Lazy Reseller.
Oh, thank you, Sydney.
Nope, you got to click on it. There you go. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sydney.
You.
Do appreciate that. We can always give you an update. It's 14 weeks, 2 days.
2 days.
There you go. But I've got about 50,000 items listed on there, and I am a one-man band. I've got a day job. And people are like, oh my gosh, how do you do that? Because I run into a lot of people out there and they've got 800 items, 1,000 items. And really one of the reasons why I have so many items up is because I started listing in 2002. So we're talking 21 years. If I were doing this hardcore and I only had 800 items up, well, that would mean I'd be doing incredible sales, or I wouldn't be putting a lot of stuff up. So to get to 50,000 items in that period of time, I mean, you're talking 20 years, you're talking 2,500 items a year. That's 45, 50 items a week plus what sells. So really, when you get down to it, is always make time to list. That's the number one secret. Whose family are those pictures in the background?
Random,
You weren't supposed to see that guy, Guru.
random neighborhood
It's,
family.
it's like a Jack Wagner movie. It's a whole second family that's going on. I actually did see a Jack Wagner movie like that, but that's a whole nother story. Nobody's here to listen to Jack Wagner movies. But yeah, so if I'm listing 2,500 items a year, you end up getting to 50,000 that way, plus another 2,500, 3,000, 4,000, whatever number it is, that ends up selling. Because I've ended up selling, I'm at 110,000 items on eBay so far that I've sold, and about, I don't know, 20,000 on Amazon, something or other like that, and probably another 5,000 on other various and sundry sites. But really, that's all it is you just need to get up every day, and when possible. Now, obviously, if you're out of town, no, or if you've got, family commitments, no. But otherwise, don't allow anything to get in your way. Just list every single day. I put 2 items up on Etsy, 1 up on $1,000,000 Peddlers, etc. every morning, no matter what. And day after day after day, you just end up building the inventory up. And bottom line, if you sell 20 items this week and you listed 22, you've got a few more items up. And week after week after week of doing that, it's almost like compound interest, the way that you don't think, oh, I'm putting $5 a week away. Where am I going? Well, yeah, after a year, you've got, $260 plus interest. Well, after 20 years, all of a sudden you're sitting on a lot. And that's kind of the same way it goes with the listing. You just spend all the time listing, doing that. And before the show, what was I doing right before the show?
Listing.
Good guess. Hey, you're paying attention. You're a lot better than Mr. Magazine. Right now, he'd be sleeping over there. But again, right before the show, I was listing. I was throwing a few items on. No big deal. Spent 5 minutes throwing a couple of items up. I had nothing else to do during that 5 minutes. And now I've got a couple of items up. So that's the positive of doing it that way as well. Hello, Lag. Welcome. On that over there. So yeah, list every day. Basically, that's really what it is, and find time to do it. And then when you have the extended time, plan things out. In other words, if I've got a big pile of the same kind of thing and I'm going to be doing bulk listing. Now, certain things bulk list. Like I remember one time I picked up a big pile of Starlog magazines. I listed them on Amazon, and I got like 53 of them listed in an hour. I had a 2-hour period of time, and I listed over 100 of them in 2 hours right before I had to go out to work. And those were perfect to list in a hurry. But the day before when I was listing, I didn't list any of them because I was like, oh, I've only got a couple of minutes. Let me pick off a couple of oddball things here and there. So save up the things that you can bulk assembly line list, and then all of a sudden hammer those out when you have a fair amount of time. And so all of a sudden, instead of listing, 5 random items, you list 20 of the same type of items. Boom, boom, boom. Just change a picture and change a word or two in the description and the title, and you're all set and to go. So just kind of know your time and plan your listings out as well. I find that helps me out tremendously as well with being able to bulk list things and getting it up. And again, if you do that over time, you got a long weekend, you got nothing going on, just list a lot of stuff, because next weekend you might not have the time and you might only be able to list a few items. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. How do you manage an inventory? I have various codes built in, box numbers and all that, and everything is in the right box 99.9% of the time. So if an item sells, I see it's in box Etsy 3, then I immediately go down to Etsy 3 and I can find the item in there. On eBay, I use the custom SKU. A lot of people I know, Mr. Magazine and Auction Professor, both use the title. I just use the custom SKU, but that works for me because I'm a one-man band. The problem they have is they have employees, so they want to be able to just print the listing out, the sales slip out and have the people find it. The custom SKU does not show up on that, but because I'm a one-man band, I can do it the way that I do it, and it saves me the numbers in the title to be able to use for real keywords, because nobody is searching on 042222. Nobody's searching on that, which would be my listing code or whatever. I try and take pictures all at once, then add details during the day. There are a lot of people that swear by doing that as well, definitely. warehouse with the stuff I source if I hit 50K. Yeah. And I've got probably 50K unlisted as well, which Mrs. Papergoy is you're very, very happy about that, aren't you, Mrs. Papergoy?
No, yeah,
very, very. Same way you manage inventory of 500. There you go. Yeah, that's true. It's just just 10 times the amount. Much better clicking messages than Mr. Magazine. Oh, there you go. There you go. Mr. Magazine has trouble walking and chewing gum, but that's a whole nother issue there. Do you add pictures? Do you use magazine listings on Amazon? I do now. I never go back and amend anything that had been up in the past. But now I do put my actual pictures up of all my items up on Amazon. I started doing that in about 2020. So anything newer that I've listed on Amazon has an actual picture of my particular item. eBay obviously does, Etsy obviously does, and any other sites that I happen to sell on obviously do as well. And to watch it 2 times speed. Sales are okay, no major buys. It takes a long time to list 50,000 items. You just got to stay consistent. There you go. When we need the Cliff's Notes, we're going to contact you, Kelly. You can write that up, and we'll split the proceeds. What percentage of listings you sell a year? Good question. This year, because I do keep track of that, this year I will sell about 2,000 items on Amazon, about 3,000 items on eBay, 5,000 another 100 and something elsewhere. So 5,100, 5,200 items sold. Out of 50,000, 55. So what is that? 1/11th. So about 9% sell through is what I'll end up having this year. It's trending downward because 2 years ago at the height of the pandemic, I think I sold 4,200 items on eBay and 2,400 items on Amazon. So I was about 6,600 items listed or sold that year. So it was about 11 to 12% that year. It's trending down to 9. That, of course, does not. Oh, hello, Gravity Goods. That, of course, does not count Whatnot, because Whatnot completely skews everything, just because I'm doing about 70% sell through, 70 to 90% sell through over on Whatnot. So I love that site myself. I know Mr. Magazine is not a fan. Do you track gross dollar listed? It does that for you over on eBay. If you click through, you can see, I think I've got $628,000 listed or something other like that over on eBay, some number like that. And I believe it also is over on Amazon. I think on Amazon you also can figure it out, but I just kind of do an estimate on Amazon, with shipping included. I think my average item would be about 10 to 12 bucks on Amazon. I tend to have listed lower priced items over there. So if you're at 20, about 240, probably about 300,000 over there. So we're approaching $1 million worth of stuff listed online right now across those 50,000 items, and probably another $1 million worth of stuff sitting around that eventually we'll get to, right? Yes. There you go. There you go. Soon, yes. This weekend. This weekend I'll list the 50,000.
When you retire.
Okay. Well, when am I retiring?
14 weeks and 2 days.
Oh, wow.
But who's counting?
Nice. I've not watched a new one. I did have a subscriber reported to me a couple of things that Tech had said that actually I'm going to be doing, or Mr. Magazine and I are going to be doing a show on at some point in the future, because it was food for thought. We'll put it that way, but I haven't seen that. Putrid, says Mr. Magazine. Yes, he does. He does say that regularly. I always sell on Amazon Canada and don't see many magazines listed there, and can't see able to add new Oh, so it's a gated thing. Yeah. Yep. I don't even know if they're ungating at this point now for stuff.
Come on.
I don't know if they're doing it. Yeah, you did. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Guide Guru. Hit the like button. Definitely would appreciate that. Gross listed over time. I started switching to caring more about money listed than dollar. Over time. Yes and no. I don't have the actual numbers down, but I do know that my average ticket has gone up. So you can kind of extrapolate out that if I'm selling items at a higher price now than I was, that I'm trending in the right direction. So I don't have the actual numbers on that, but definitely I'm trending in the right direction. And Mr. Magazine, as well, as his average ticket's going up as well. We both made a conscious decision to move that way a few years ago. It's one of the reasons why I figured, here was my thought. I've got the skeleton in place, having that many listings. So rather than doing a garbage listing on a new magazine, I'll do a good listing on a new magazine where I'll put up the table of contents and I'll go through it and put up like 2 or 3 pictures from it. Because my thought is I've got enough other items listed that something is bound to sell, or that's the theory, no matter what. And I can ask more money by doing a better listing on the newer things that I'm listing. And again, I very rarely go back and touch the old items other than working on item specifics. Otherwise, I don't touch the older items whatsoever. Well, I think there's a lot more items up too, Don. I think I'm on Amazon Canada. I don't think I've sold anything in about 7 years over there. I do have some comic books up there, but I don't think I've sold anything in forever. In fact, I thought everything was deleted, and I looked and no, it wasn't deleted. And I said, oh, nobody cares about my comic books. That's what it comes down to. So I forgot. Yeah, I probably got 500, 600 items over on Amazon Canada that haven't sold in many, many, many years. All right, we're going to head on into the rambling story of the week, because I've got 3 minutes and 51 seconds before I owe an overage fee to Mrs. Papergoy's agent. So got to be here. No, and actually, Artie Mike, that's interesting you say that. I've started to play around with it a little bit. A subscriber suggested that we do a show about it. So I've started to play around and started to make some notes on it. So in an upcoming show, you'll see us talking about it. But no, I do not use that myself at this point. So the rambling story of the week. So from time to time, Mrs. Papergoy is nice enough to go with me on trips when we're sourcing, basically. And you remember where we went? When was it? I don't remember when it was.
Oh.
Yeah, remember that trip? Wasn't that great?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that awesome?
That one?
Yeah, that one.
Awesome.
Where we drove down through Delavan, New York, which if you want to see probably the most decrepit, nothing against it, the most decrepit downtown in all of New York State, drive to Delavan. Mrs. Papergoy and I looked at each other and said, what is wrong with this town? I mean, it really did look like a ghost town. It was a terrible little downtown. As far as just no businesses at all. It was sad. It was very, very sad. I'm sure Delavan was never a thriving metropolis, but it was really, really sad. As a matter of fact, it drives a hard bargain. But
you know, Jeff?
So we went to Ellicottville. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Stayed at a nice hotel. And if you've never been to Ellicottville, it's a beautiful little town. It's a ski lodge kind of town. Everybody's there for skiing. So of course we were there in the summer.
Very nice.
But it was a nice little town, great little walkable town, a lot of little restaurants and bars. And then we went over to a sale the next day that I've actually got a haul video up about. So that was a lot of fun as well. So we decided to feed Mrs. Papergoy. You know, she gets hungry once in a while. So I guess she gets a little bit of food once in a while.
Okay.
So we were walking around.
Oh boy.
And we were looking for a place to eat, and we wanted a fish fry.
Yeah.
And we saw a sign for an Italian restaurant, and they had a little sign out front that said fish fry, and it was off the beaten path. It wasn't on the main street. It was on one of the side streets. So we said, oh, well, we're going to go over there. So we walked over there and walked in. Do you have a reservation? No, but they let us in anyway. So we sat down, and they had a fish fry, and they started reading us the specials. And Mrs. Papergoy was going to go with the fish fry, correct?
Yes, I was.
Right. But then they said they had a steak.
And I love steak.
And you do love steak, and your ears perked up. And you were like, well, I'm going to get the fish fry. I go, don't get the fish fry. Get the steak. If you want the steak, go ahead and get it. So she ordered the steak. To anybody out there who knows what a tomahawk steak is, Mrs. Papergoy ended up getting a tomahawk steak. It is a cut of meat with this giant bone out of it that looks like a tomahawk, essentially. Yeah. And the waitress brought it out and goes to put that in front of me and to put the fish fry in front of her. And then she's like, or we're like, no, it's the other way around. And there was a gentleman at the table behind us.
Yeah, and then he was like doing this.
And starts laughing out loud because
the tomahawk is bigger than my face.
I was going to say,
Like, so big.
Mrs. Papergoy doesn't, Mrs. Papergoy dripping wet doesn't weigh as much as this tomahawk steak did. Let's put it that way.
It was, didn't it?
She was a she was a champ, and she attempted to finish it all. I finished my fish fry.
You did.
I was a big boy. I finished my fish fry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you're ever down there, do check it out. Wasn't it delicious though?
Very delicious.
It was delish.
Never had it before, but I love it.
I'll tell you one other quick rambling story. We're over, so I'm paying the overage fee anyway. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
Huge. Like, I never seen like that before.
Oh, it's great, Guy Guru. Do you remember when we went to Delmonico's?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And they had
another steak story.
Was it a 30-ounce steak? I think it was a 2-pound steak, 30-ounce steak.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, it was their biggest steak they have on the menu. I think it was 30 ounces, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Mrs. Papergoy ordered that and ate the entire thing. And I was just sitting across from her like this. Because I was hoping to get some leftovers on it. So if you take Mrs. Papergoy out and you want to some steak, that's what she said. Exactly. Thank you, Mary.
That's what she said. I know that joke.
That's good.
But it is family.
It is a family show.
Family show. So.
But yeah, so Mrs. Papergoy can eat steak, definitely. No question all about that. All right, everybody. If you can hit the like button, we would really, really appreciate it. Big hands up for Mrs. Papergoy doing a great job over here.
You.
The last thing I wanted to show you real quick, and we were before the show looking at this, we were thinking of maybe redoing the Ebenezer Scrooge story with Ghost of Christmas Past and everything. Because when I stand back over here, I look like I'm a floating ghost over here. I have no legs. So when you see us remake that show there, we're going to use this background for sure. Only 3 well, I haven't been begging people to replace this magazine for the rest of the month. No, I can't complain about that.
Thank you, John.
Because the main reason why, because when I try to do this, when I try to do that to Mr. Magazine, he punches me. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. We will see you. Do hit the like button. Do stop by Whatnot. Definitely do. My usual Tuesday, Thursday shows, 4 p.m. Eastern, Ephemera on Tuesdays, and Thursdays have books.
Thank you.
And he's voted off the island. And do stop by 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Saturday for the Junk Journal. So stop on by for that. A lot of fun over there. You're looking forward to 2 hours worth of hearing me talk?
Looking forward to it.
Or as she would say, every other day of the week.
That book will go up.
As long as all goes up the order. That's all you care about. There you go. You're used to hearing me talk for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
All righty, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank
and
you,
we will
guys.
see you next video. You got to click up there where it says end stream. There you go. Very good job.
Bye. Good night.
Now you got to hit end stream. There you go.